Well, it's getting to that time of year again when, we're getting through the holidays and getting ready to welcome in another year. And with that another year comes, of course, resolutions. Even though we typically don't keep our resolutions, we still make our resolutions. Now, you know that I'm a big believer in resolutions. I think it's great to, keep an eye on what goal you're trying to aim for and, to plan where you're going. Don't just let life happen. Enjoy it, seize it. And so I'm definitely not disagreeing with the practice of, you know, setting New Year's resolutions. I'm just simply disagreeing with the idea of not following through with them and then not taking any kind of inventory on why didn't you keep with them. So now that we're at that time of year where we're getting ready to close out on this year and welcome in the next year, I want to encourage you to take a little bit of time just to do a little bit of stock, a little bit of inventory. What have you done over the past year? What have you accomplished? Now, I don't mean this in the way of guilt tripping yourself, like, oh, I haven't done enough, or oh, I should have done better here, or this, or I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about looking back over the year and taking stock of where you are, where you were, what you did, what you didn't do, how you've changed, what you'd like to do in the future. Maybe something that you've been wanting to do that didn't happen this year, and maybe you want to push that back to next year. Also, it's a good time to look at all the things that you set out to do and see if there's anything that you can finish before the end of the year. I like it because it's a good time to just sit back and look and say, okay, these were the things I wanted to do. How close am I to that goal? What happened? Let's kind of see what happened here. I had a goal to bike 2,500 miles. I am under 80 miles away from biking 2,500 miles. This does not include walking or running, just biking 2,500 miles. And I'm less than 80 miles shy of that, and there's still time for me to finish up that goal. So now is the perfect time to look over the year and say, what little things do I want to finish off before I end the year? What do I want to, what kind of areas can I push myself next year? What areas did I maybe push myself too hard? Just a good idea to look over the year and say, what happened this year? And it's easy to find things to complain about. It's easy to find things to guilt trip ourselves over about. Let's just do away with that. Let's not bother with that. Instead, let's take the time to look and say, I got this done. That was cool. Winter oftentimes is a time when people get their hopes frustrated. They look back and they say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. And so they just get more and more frustrated of all the stuff that they didn't do. But winter isn't really meant to do that. You work when it's summer, and then when you get to winter, it's supposed to be a time when you can just take a breath and say, resting for the next season. And that's okay. I mean, think of the land, right? You work the land. Well, now people work the land most of the year, but let's just say old time farming, okay? You work the land, you grow the crops, you harvest the crops, then you have the winter, the time of rest, where the land, you just let the land have its rest. It's like this, well, not really, but kind of like the story of the grasshopper and the ant, right? Anyways, it's a really good time to take stock, and I want to encourage you to do that. But instead of guilt tripping yourself, I want you to focus especially on rejoicing in what you have done, being glad for what you have done, and looking with hope to the future of what you can do next time. Maybe you just had too many things you wanted to get done. And it's okay to just focus on one or two things rather than trying to get everything done. I mean, life isn't about a to-do list. It's supposed to be a lot more than that. Did you end well? Did you complete your goals? Did you do what you wanted to do? Is the year ending how you want? Are all the little projects, are they getting done? And why not? If not, then why not? And I'm not saying why haven't you done this, but I mean look at the things that you've done and say, why was I unable to do this? Maybe the task was too big and you were trying to do it yourself. Maybe, like I said, it just wasn't a good time for it in your life, or you just ran out of time. I mean, there's lots of different things. So look back and say, these are the things that I didn't get done. Why didn't I get those things done? And what can I change going into another year that would make me more likely to meet that goal? Make me more likely to have New Year's resolutions that I actually hit? What can I change? As we get into the winter season, don't get frustrated about things going slow and whatnot. Instead, realize that not every day is meant to be identical. Some days of your life, you're going to have days that are meant to be just taking a break. Sometimes of the year, it's better to do reading. Sometimes of the year, it's better to do outside chores that you have. It's not the best time in the winter, for instance, to lay concrete. There's some things that are better to do at certain times of year. Reading is easier at some times of the year. Working outside is easier at some times of the year. Don't look at winter as a frustration to your plans. Look at winter as a time to appreciate what's been done, to rest, to take a break. Don't try and make your winter season just as productive as your summer season. Instead, realize what season you are in your life. Not just literal seasons, but also what age you are. And remember to take time, whatever age you are, to use it as an opportunity to grow, to reminisce, to think, to take stock, to plan. But not everything about moving forward has to be aggressive. Sometimes moving forward is stopping and instead taking the time to think back over the year and what happened. Fond memories, things that didn't go so well, failures, and looking back at those things and saying, maybe learning from them, maybe just processing them. See, sometimes we attribute growth, the only way that we can grow is by, this real aggressive attack. But life really doesn't work like that. And like I said before, different areas in your life and different areas in the year are going to be better times to do this job or that job. And if you try and make every day the exact same all throughout the year, you're just going to end in failure and frustration, right? Like, for instance, when it's raining, I use that as a good opportunity to not bike. I don't like to get water all up in my bike's gears and stuff, and it just makes a mess. I don't like that. I like my bike to be in good condition. And you might think, well, how can you not bike when it rains? Because it hardly ever rains where I live. So when it does rain, I take that as an opportunity, instead of biking, to sit down, drink some hot tea, catch up on some reading. There's different days of the week, different times of the year, different times of your life that are better for different things. But sometimes we get so busy that we think, well, I have to get this and this and this done, and today I have to do this and this and this, and it's the same thing every single day. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Do you do laundry every single day of the week? Well, I hope not. It's a good way to kill yourself. But so look over and then readjust your course. How have you changed over the year? Are those goals still goals that you have now? It's not about staying set to the goals that you set 5 years ago. It's about set goals, reach for them, and then readjust your course. Analyze. Take stock. Is this where I want to go? Am I still heading for the same goal? What do I want to accomplish with this? And then after seeing that, ask yourself, what do you want to adjust? What worked for you and what didn't work? Did it work for you getting up at this time? I see a lot of people do this. I have this New Year's resolution. I'm going to get up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. How? And not just how, but why? And then not just how and why, but is that realistic? See, some people just can't wake up early. I don't know. They just can't. So unless you are just hell-bent and determined to work yourself into a Marine-style sense of realize that if that's just not you, that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be like somebody else. Oh, they get up so early and it looks like they're so productive with their time. Are you being productive with your time and with your day, how you're spending it? So instead, take stock of the year. Readjust your course. Ask important questions. Appreciate what's been done.